Good reads.
Books that made me love reading, Part 1. One of the many stories that I've read as a child. This one in particular, I read many times. I just loved reading this as a little girl. And I thought I'd share it today, and I hope you love it too, like I did. This one and many others are the reason why I love reading, and it helped me to continue loving to read as an adult and ultimately becoming a teacher as a result. So I hope you love it as I do, and I will read one of the stories in this book for you. All right, so the title of this book is Sounds of a Powwow by Bill Martin Jr. and in collaboration with Peggy Brogan. And the story that I'm going to read today is Caps for Sale, and it's a story by this person here. Once there was a peddler who went out to sell caps. He carried the caps on top of his head. First, he put on his own striped cap, then 4 yellow caps, then 4 blue caps, then 4 red caps, and on the very top, 4 polka dot caps. He walked up and down the streets, holding himself very straight, so as not to upset his caps. As he went along, he called, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" But nobody brought any caps that morning, not even a red cap. In time, the peddler began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch, not even for a taco. So he walked and walked until he came to a great big tree. "This is a nice place to rest," thought he. So he sat down under the tree and leaned back little by little against the tree trunk, so as not to upset the caps on his head. Then he reached up to make sure that they were straight. First, his own striped cap, then the 4 yellow caps, then the 4 blue caps, then the 4 red caps, then on the very top of the 4 polka dot caps. Then he went to sleep. He slept for a long time. When he woke up, he reached up to make sure that his caps were still on his head. All he felt was his own striped cap. The other caps were gone. He looked to the right of him, no caps. He looked to the left of him, no caps. He looked in back of him, no caps. He looked behind the tree, no caps. Then he looked up into the tree, and what do you think he saw? On every branch, there was a monkey. On every monkey, there was a cap, a yellow cap, or a blue cap, or a red cap, or a polka dot cap. The peddler looked at the monkeys. The monkeys looked at the peddler. He shook a finger at the monkey and said, "You monkeys, you, give me back my caps." The monkeys only shook their fingers back at him and said, "Tsk, tsk, tsk." This made the peddler angry, so he shook his fist at the monkeys and said, "You monkeys, you, give me back my caps." but the monkeys only shook their fist back at him and said, "Tsk, tsk, tsk." Now the peddler was quite angry. He stomped his foot and said, "You monkeys, you, give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stomped their feet back at him and said, "Tsk, tsk, tsk." At last, the peddler became so angry that he pulled off his cap and threw it on the ground. Then each monkey pulled off his cap, and all the yellow caps, and all the blue caps, and all the red caps, and all the polka dot caps came flying down out of the tree. So the peddler picked up his cap and put them back on his head. First his own striped cap, then the 4 yellow caps, then the 4 blue caps, then the 4 red caps, then the 4 polka dot caps on the very top. And slowly he walked away calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." The end. All right, I really hope you enjoyed that. This, like I said, was one of my favorites. And I read every single story. There's many stories in here. I read so many. And so many times I repeated them because I just loved it. And I really hope you do too.